Sure.
Okay. So wait, I'll do my spiel first. Um, Good evening, everyone. So thank you so much for joining the fourth day of our college fair. So we have here Lee Huan, who will be representing Bentley University for tonight. So if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box and we will get to it later. So hi, Lee Huan, take it away.
Thank you, Dominique, and thank you, Camp, for organizing this. My name is Lee Huan Lai. I am the Associate Director of Admissions at Bentley University. It is really a pleasure to be here to meet all of you and to talk about Bentley and what it is like to study, particularly at Bentley University, but also in the United States. I work mainly with international students in Asia. So certainly Philippines is one of the major countries that we have students that are coming to study at Bentley University. So to give you an idea of where we are located, you can see on the slide deck here that the center is Bentley University. We are roughly about 15 minutes away from the city of Boston. So you can see on the skyline, you have a few tall buildings. That is the city of Boston. We are located in Waltham, Massachusetts. It is a town that's been booming, incredibly diverse, great places to eat. We run shuttles to train station every 15 minutes so that students can go to different parts of the city for internships, to see museums, to get food, to take, the train to New York City. That's only about four hours away. It is mostly a residential campus, as you can see here. Most of our students, it's not required, but mainly pretty much all of our first year students live on campus the first year. So it is very much a residential campus. Okay, and a little bit about the numbers at our university. So we are a smaller, medium-sized university, roughly 4,000 students. And we were founded in the 1920s by a professor at BU University, Boston University. He was an accounting professor. He thought that there's a better way to teach accountancy. So he founded an accountancy school in the city of Boston. Then it grew, it kept growing. Then it became a college. We had to move to find a bigger campus. So we moved to Waltham, where we are now. Then it grew into university, and we now offer MBAs, Masters of Science degrees, and certificate programs as well, in addition to a bachelor's degree. If there's anything, students ask me why there's such a high percentage of international students that study at Bentley University. Currently, we have 15% international students. Prior to the pandemic, it was as much as 17%. And there are a number of reasons. I think the main one is our location, right? I mentioned we're right outside of the city of Boston. And if you know anything about Boston, it is one of the friendliest cities for college students, particularly international students, right? Our airport is just about 10 minutes away from the city. We have so many colleges and universities. It's become a destination for being great academics, but incredibly friendly to international students. And the opportunities are endless with Fortune 500 companies in the city of Boston, internship and research opportunities for students during the school year and in the summer. So you can see here, we are we're ranked #1 by the News and World Report. I think US News and Report, the number is a little bit deceiving, but it's actually true. We are ranked #1 in the region of Northeast. So compared to the schools in the North that are part of the regional ranking, we're ranked #1 for our academic offerings, for our outcomes of students. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. One thing I also want to point to is our smaller class sizes, 11:1 student to faculty ratio. But what's incredible is the fact that all of our class sizes are the largest class size is 35. So our classroom settings only have 35 seats for students. So you will not join a introductory class that has more than 35 students. So why do students choose Bentley? It's, really our academic program. So we are, a business university. We also offer arts and sciences, and technology is a really big part of what we offer. In our residential life piece, we have a living and learning community, which means our dormitories are themed based. So as students, when they come into Bentley, they can choose to be part of um, um, the women's leadership dorm. If you're invited to the honors, there's an honors program dormitory. If you are interested in social justice, there is a dormitory for students that are interested in social justice and community service, for example. Students are able to customize what they want to learn. So if you're a student who has interest in finance, but also has interest in global perspectives, we offer certainly that combination and many more. And I think lastly, students are drawn to Bentley because of our reputation in career services and preparation for a rewarding career. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So this is our approach to the academics. We are a blend of business and arts and sciences, which means all students, no matter which major they choose to study at Bentley, you have to take a set of introductory business courses and a set of arts and sciences. So some of the courses include intro to econ, macro, micro, for example, finance, law, and business. Some general education core classes include English seminar, a science course, a math course, and social science. And the interesting thing is that, at Bentley, the professors and department chairs really combine these two relatively different sets of courses, right? Having the arts and sciences and the business together to blend it into a sort of a seamless curriculum. And then students can come to Bentley with an idea of what they want to study or undeclared. So you can say, I think I have some idea that I want to study business, or I have some idea that I want to combine business and maybe international affairs, or business and data analytics, which is part of the arts and sciences major. So you don't have to choose your major, but if you do, that's terrific. And by the end of the second years, students decide what they want to major in. So overall, we offer about 30 majors. You can see on the left-hand side are business majors, 50-50 are business, and the other 50 is arts and sciences. If you can see, I know it's a little bit small, but there are red asterisks next to about 6 majors on this sheet. So you can see actuarial science, data analytics, mathematical sciences, computer information systems, information system audit and control, quantitative economics. These 6 majors are STEM designated, and that's an important distinction for international students, because once you finish your bachelor studies with your student F1 visa, you have an option to work in the United States. With a STEM degree, you can work up to 3 years, so additional 2 years compared to a non-designated STEM major. Okay, so that's a really important fact and distinction for international students. I mentioned technology is a big part of Bentley's education, right? The business, the arts and sciences, and technology. And the reason is because we really want to make sure that students are equipped with the latest art facilities to prepare you for the real world, to prepare you for your internship, to prepare you for your career that you're about to enter. We have one of the largest financial trading rooms in the United States universities. Students can, all students, no matter which major you're interested in, have the ability to utilize and take advantage of all the labs and technology that we offer. So oftentimes, students who study accountancy, right, would get a Bloomberg certificate to use their the Bloomberg terminals. Sorry, I should also mention the reason why we emphasize so much on technology is really because it's a huge advantage for students when you're ready for an internship. You can say, yes, I am Bloomberg certified, or yes, I know how to use this technology because I've used it at Bentley for one of our classes. So for international students, coming to the US is a study abroad experience, right? But while you're here, you still have additional opportunity to study abroad in other countries and places that you might not have thought of. It could be Hungary, it could be Chile, it could be South Africa. And prior to the pandemic, many of our students, about 50% of our students, including international students, spent either a semester or a year or a summer immersion program abroad that can combine your academic interest in addition to your interest for global studies. So, I've noticed many students come in with a lot of community service experience. They have a desire to, help the world become a more just and equitable place. And at Bentley, they can continue with that with our service learning program. So, what's really neat about this is that most of these clubs and service learning programs at Bentley are organized by our student leaders. One of the more famous ones is the accountancy club, where our students are trained to offer tax services to low-income families in the neighborhood. And another additional really neat program is that students can often get an extra academic credit on top of the community service that they're doing. So we really combine what you learn in the classroom, the theory, but also to practice, right, in the service learning projects, and also give you credit for it. So I mentioned a little bit why students are drawn to Bentley because of the academic program and the preparation, but another reason is the career development. So at Bentley, we are ranked #1 by the Princeton Review for Career Services. We've been ranked #1 also for internship preparations. So this is a longstanding ranking at Bentley. It's been always in the top 4, top 3. And there are a lot of reasons, as you can see on this slide. Our students do an incredible job of getting internships, not only 1, but 2, right? 70% of our students complete at least 2 internships during their time at Bentley, and 85% of them are paid. So that's a very great statistics for you. So if you're looking at other universities, one of the questions you might want to ask them is that, what percentage of the internships are paid, right? Another question you might want to ask them is, what percentage of the internships result in a job offer? So at Bentley, it is close to 50%. And the reason why we're ranked so high are some of these reasons, the data that I'm shown on this, the statistic that I'm showing on this slide deck, but also our career services offer so many services for all of our students, including international students. So your first year, you're being offered a career development 101 course, 201 for your second year, 301 and 401. In addition, you can set up one-on-one meetings with our career advisors. And, the first year, you're going to focus on very basic, job search skills like preparations, I should say, like your resume, creating a LinkedIn. And I know some of you already have a resume, but a resume in the United States can look very different and have different, not requirements, but points that students don't in other countries, or resumes in other countries don't really consider. And then by your 4th year, when we are working with our career development, or 3rd year, when you're working with a career development center, you will focus a lot more on, preparing mock interview for your accountancy job, or for your finance analyst position. So each of these industries have different preparation when you're looking at interviews and preparing your resume and cover letter for them. We also offer career fairs, huge career fairs twice a year in the semester, but also individual recruitment visits by companies that are interested in hiring Bentley universities. If you go on a career development website, you can see a list of them that come to Bentley to recruit students for a job. So that results in, 98% of our students are placed in jobs or they go on to graduate school. The median salary is about $62,000 per year. And another remarkable thing that our career service do is actually they create career profile based on the major that you are studying in. So as you can see, we actually have a 2020 career profile. I apologize, it's not updated, but the numbers are very similar. So in the finance major, for students to study finance, it's very popular, around 200 students. You can see in marketing is still relatively popular, about 120 students. Placement rate, we know the knowledge rate, right? Compensation, as you can see, median compensation in finance is about 60 and marketing is about 50. At the bottom part, this is the part that I find very fascinating, is how did these students get their jobs, right? You can see personal networking, internships to full-time offer. Campus recruiting is when specifically a specific company come and recruit students to work at their company. Bentley referral is through the career fairs that Bentley put on. And here is a STEM degree that I mentioned, computer information systems. As you can see, it's still relatively popular among international students. 14% of our international students study computer information systems. You can see the compensation is higher. The median salary is about 70. And then internship to full-time offer is the main venue in which our students get their jobs. And then personal networking, campus recruiting, and Bentley referral. There's a second page to this that lists all the places students have interned and all the places that our students have gotten jobs at. This is another set of career profile. So here are a list of top companies that hire Bentley University graduates. You can see that, the big 4 accounting firms to, schools, to hotel industry, to technology like Boeing, right? To, anything you can name, you can see it here, right? Nonprofit organizations like City Year and Teach for America. You can see health industries like Blue Cross Blue Shield and Sun Life, for example, is another one. So let's talk a little bit about, what you do in addition to your classes. We talked about community service, but also one of the things I really appreciate about Bentley is the number of offerings in terms of clubs and organizations for students. You are welcome here at Bentley University. There are organizations that you can continue your interest, but also a place for you to create new clubs if we don't offer them. This is one of my favorite pictures at Bentley. This is pre-pandemic, of course, when our students are watching a Bentley basketball game in front of our lawn. So this is sort of the quintessential, college experience when you're thinking about, what you do outside of the classroom. If any of you are interested in athletics, we have intramural sports, but we also have competitive, Division I and Division sports at Bentley University. Again, there is always something for all of you. Okay, let's talk a little bit about admissions. I think we have a question about, what is required and what are some merit scholarships that are being offered. So let's talk about the requirement. We are a common application school. So if you apply, you will have to create an account and submit the application through the common application. We require letters of recommendation from your school counselor and preferably 2 teachers. 1 is okay. We want your transcripts from grade year 9 through 11th, your final transcripts. And also, your senior year grades. If it's first semester, first quarter, we would like to see them as well. And for students, if your English, if your first language is not English, then we will require English language proficiency. So So we accept TOEFL. Our minimum is 90, IELTS minimum is 6.5, and Duolingo minimum is 130. All this information is on our website. So as you all know, the coronavirus and pandemic has put a pause on testing centers because they are closed for SAT and ACT. We have been test optional this past year. We will be test optional this coming year for seniors who are applying to Bentley University. Our university institution is researching the pros and cons of tests for students the next year. So we don't have a policy for students. If you are a junior or sophomore, we are grade 11th and grade 10. We don't have a policy yet with our standardized test scores. So it could be test optional. It could be where we be test flexible. It could be that we require SAT or ACT. Okay. For students that are senior this year, if you choose to submit test scores, you don't have to worry about what is an acceptable test score. Okay, so at Bentley, we will, if you submit a test score, if it enhances your application, we will, look at your test score. We will consider them. If it does not enhance your application, if it doesn't do anything to help your application, we will not look at your test score. Okay, so we take the guessing work out of you. So let's talk about merit scholarships, right? At Bentley University, we do not offer need-based financial aid. There are a few institutions in the United States that offers that. So when we make a decision about your acceptance, if you're being accepted to Bentley, we do not look at your financial aid. We do not look at a financial background, okay? We do look at your academic performance, your leadership skills, so that when we are reviewing your application, we review all students for merit scholarships. Okay, there's no separate application for our merit scholarship. And they range from $10,000 all the way to full tuition. Okay, so a student could be awarded that $10,000 per year due to their academic performance. We look at the rigor and we look at your grades as well. In addition, we have a very neat women's leadership program that also comes with a $10,000 additional $10,000 scholarship for students that are selected. Every year we select about 70 women to join this program. It is 4 years of programming and additional $10,000. And then of course we offer a sprinkle of athletic scholarships. Each of them vary. So if you have interest in them, let me know and I can tell you more information about that. Okay, so that is a introduction to Bentley and our mission process. Let me know if you have questions, and I think there are a few already in the chat box. Okay, so how do you weight extracurriculars and academics in admissions and in scholarships? That's a great question. So our merit scholarship our selection process is mainly focused on your academic program. However, your leadership skills, including your involvement in extracurricular, plays a role in it. So if you're a student who do not have any involvement or engagement outside of your classes, it is unlikely that you will get one of the higher scholarship amount. You may be able to get a $10,000 per year scholarship, but it is very unlikely you will be able to you will get selected perhaps for the $30,000 per year scholarship. So there's no exact formula that we look at when we are reviewing applications. But do rest assured our review is very holistic and comprehensive. For every application, we have at least 2 sets of eyes or 2 admission counselors that will review the application and make judgments or decisions on scholarship. The question is, how much is the cost of education at Bentley? That's a great question. So our tuition is roughly, and a year to year, it's a little bit like by 2% more, but it's about $50,000 per year is the cost of tuition. Room and board is about $15,000 more. And then we add on probably that students will need to spend another $5,000 to $7,000 on books, on sort of allowances, on visa, on travel, and sort of expenditures that are related to sort of being a college student. Yeah, so let me see other questions. In terms of extracurriculars or academic performance, which would take precedence? That's a great question. So as an academic institution, we want you to succeed, right? So when we're reviewing your application, the first two questions is this student going to succeed at Bentley? Is this student going to succeed in one of the majors that we offer at Bentley? So if you're a student that's interested in studying for, let's say, engineering, we would not be a good school for you because we do not offer engineering degree, right? If you are a student that's interested in being a teacher, we would not be a good school for you because we don't offer education as one of the majors, okay? So when we are reviewing application, the first question we ask is, are you academically able to succeed at Bentley? Are you an engaged student? Do you raise your hand in the classroom? Are you engaged in extracurricular activities? Either it is sports, arts, community service. It could be helping out your family because they need your help. Are you doing part-time jobs because you want to, because your family situation requires that you do work part-time during your high school? Are you someone who join conferences? Are you someone who are interested in writing? So we're looking for students that are academically, are doing well and engaged in some ways, because at Bentley and at many institutions in the United States, we have so much to offer students. We want you to take advantage of the career services, of the technology that we offer. We want you to take advantage of the clubs and organizations, the competition that we join. We want you to do that because we think it's good for you as a student, as a professional. Let me see, what other questions? Does Bentley cover visa and travel expenses for international students? We do not. So if again, when we offer any monetary offer, it would be in the form of merit scholarships. So again, it ranges from $10,000 to full tuition. So the most that we can offer any students is full tuition to study at Bentley. And also keep in mind that the higher the scholarship amount, the more competitive it is to receive it. Why does Bentley not offer financial aid? Is Bentley planning on providing financial aid in the future? We do not have plans to provide financial aid to international students in the future. Our merit scholarship is, I would say, very generous for international students, okay? For the size of an institution, and for the quality of education that students can receive. We don't provide financial aid, but we do provide merit scholarship. That's, I would say, pretty generous. If someone is a dual citizen but lives and studies abroad, does he and she count as a domestic or international student? That's a great question. So if you're a dual citizen, let's say you're US and something else, and you live abroad, um, you can apply for financial aid, okay, because as a US citizen, you can apply for financial aid. Your application will be sort of your educational background will be seen as someone who's by one of the international admission counselors. So it would not be reviewed by a domestic counselor. You will be reviewed alongside with students that are studying in Philippines, if that makes any sense. Is a certificate stating that English is a medium of instruction in school be enough to waive for the requirement? It is not. If you put in the common application that English is your first language, you will be required to submit a English proficiency exam. If English is your first language, then you will not be required to submit a TOEFL or IELTS. We have a waiver. You can, that some students are waived from the language proficiency exam because of the curriculum, because of how many years they've been studying at an English medium school. So there is a process for students to waive that requirement. Do we offer any pre-med courses? Great question. We have had students that have joined Bentley and went to medical school. Okay, so we do offer a number of science courses that are typically considered pre-med, but you might need to take a few additional courses to study for pre-med. Is there a Filipino community or club in Bentley? Yes, there is. I am in touch with actually two students, one from Manila and one from Cebu, and they are actually flying together to join Bentley this year. We're very excited to have them join us, but we do have quite a growing, I would say, Filipino community, both Filipino Americans and also international Filipino students as well. I don't know the exact numbers, but every year we have roughly, I would say 5 to 8 students are joining us from Philippines. How is the economics program in Bentley? Is there environmental economics? That's a great question. We don't have a major called environmental economics, but depending on what your interests are, we have a quantitative economics, we have an economics finance major, but we also have a sustainability major as well. So you can sort of do a major minor program at Bentley to combine your interests in economics and environmental studies. Do you have a program where you can add 1 year to your bachelor's to get your master's degree? Yes. So we do have what we call fast track programs. For students interested in an MBA, we have a 4+1, so 4 years of undergrad, 1 year of MBA, and you will have 2 degrees. We have a 3-1 in Master of Finance. So in fact, you can get your 3 years in bachelor, 1 year in MS to get 2 degrees at Bentley University. And we have other combinations as well. Does Bentley have majors such as legal studies or political science to help us for law school? Great question. We do not have legal studies. We have international affairs, and let me actually point back to the majors slide so we can all see what are all the different majors that we offer. There we go. So we have international affairs, history, liberal arts, philosophy. These are majors that actually do prepare students for law school. Okay, so if you're a student interested in law, you can study any of these majors, and our advisors will help you work on your application to apply to law school. We have had students that directly go to law school after finishing their 4 years at Bentley University. Around how many international students apply each year on average, and how many are accepted? Great question. Our acceptance rate, depending on the year, the pandemic has certainly put a little pause on it, but roughly on a typical year, it would be roughly around 40-ish% of acceptance rates for international students. How many international students apply per year? So the number of students apply per year is different, but if again, I will go back to this slide. We have about 15% of international students in a school. That is roughly 4,000 undergraduate students. Okay. Great questions.
Hi, so you guys can chat if you have any more questions. We have room for only like a couple more questions. If you have any, please ask them now.
Yeah, you guys are phenomenal in your questions. You are asking the right questions. And this is sort of, I understand, the exploration stage where you are kind of looking at different universities and schools, right? Looking at if it's an academic fit, looking at the prices, cost of education at that school, and looking at the environment, right? Is it in a city? Is it right outside of city? Is it in a major city? Is it East Coast or West Coast? Another consideration I do want to mention for international students particularly is really, I mentioned career preparation, right? You want a school that will, you're studying in the United States for one of the reasons is that you can find a career, a job that will prepare you well for your next steps, right? Or for students who want to graduate school, pre-law or medicine, or sorry, want to study law or medicine. So certainly, I would recommend, I highly, praise all your questions because they're really great questions. Okay, how large is the campus? Are the cultural aspects or events that differentiate Bentley from other business schools? That's a great question. So this is our campus. I think in terms of size, if you walk from one end to another end, it will take about 25 to 30 minutes. Okay. Most we have what we call the lower campus, middle campus, and the upper campus. So the lower campus is typically all the sports, the middle campus is all the dorms, and the upper campus are most of the academic buildings. So if you walk from your dorm to a classroom, depending on where it is, it could be 5 minutes or it could be as 15 minutes, 20 minutes. What about what are aspects or events that differentiate Bentley from other universities? That's a great question. I do not know. I know a lot about Bentley. I do not know enough about other business schools to tell you that. I think, there are pros and cons of each university, but one of the things that Bentley has been really known for is our accountancy and our finance programs, because we were founded as an accounting school. And again, I hear, employers come and tell us that, Bentley students are so prepared for the jobs that they're in, and within a year they're promoted to a higher position. They get a raise, for example. Is Bentley responsive to student advocacies, like if students want to change school policies, start orgs addressing social issues on campus? Great question. We do have a student government organization at Bentley where they work closely with administration at Bentley. It is very easy to start organizations on campus. There is a process for students in terms of addressing school policy that will have to, that's a little bit more complicated process. What mistakes do applicants usually make? Great question. I've seen applicants say, write the name of the university that's not Bentley University on their essays. So if I would recommend that you remove, if you're not applying early district decision, I recommend you removing the university's name from your essays. That's one big one. In their essays, I've seen students who don't address the prompt, right? They're writing an essay about something completely different that's not being asked. So be careful of that. Again, grammar mistakes is quite a lot. We see quite a lot of those. And really making sure that your interest aligns with the universities that you're applying to. How much alumni prioritize community service? That's a really good question. I am not sure how to answer that question, but what I can tell you about the international alumni community at Bentley is they're very, very engaged. So when I was able to travel to different countries and we asked alumni to give up their time to talk to prospective students or admitted students, they always say yes. They always say anything for Bentley. So I'm always amazed by how much enthusiasm they have for Bentley University. Sorry.
I think that's the last question that we can answer. Unfortunately, we have very limited time. Again, thank you so much for joining Bentley University. So Li Huan, is there anything you want to plug where they can reach you for further questions?
Yes, I will put my email contact in the chat box so everyone can just copy and paste it or screenshot it. I'm going to go to the last page, which also has my contact information as well. There you go.
So please screenshot that for your future reference. Yeah, so you guys will be reassigned to new rooms, and yeah, you guys will be reassigned to new rooms. Please wait for Mickey, our college fair manager, to move you to the rooms. And Liwan, we will have a new set of participants joining us.
Perfect. So thank you, Dominique. Thank you, everyone. It's been really such a pleasure talking to you, and I really appreciate all your questions.
Yep, so Liwan put links in the chat box. Make sure to copy them before you leave the room. Thank you so much again, everyone.